I'm Aaron with Core Landscape. We've been getting a lot of calls about these irrigation timers and people getting frustrated with them, so we're just going to break it down pretty easy for you on these series of videos so you can really see the functions of them and how easy they really are to use. All right, for this controller, this is called a Hunter X-Core. This particular unit is an XC400. They come in XC400, XC800, XC1200, which just represent the amount of stations that each one can have, but all the controls function the same. So for this unit, you'll see a dial in the center, which represents your master switch. The dial right now, whatever the small end is on, is the function that the controller will be on. So for right now, the controller is pointing at run, which means that any settings that are put into it, the controller will run in the automatic operation until otherwise told to do so. If you wanted to tell the controller to turn itself off, like it was going to rain and you wanted to leave it off, you could just move this small dial to system off. The off would stay on and the controller would do nothing that it's programmed to do. For purposes of this video, I'm going to go through how to program a start time, how to program a run time, and how to set the days that you want it to water. The first function that we'll go to is start times. You'll see that start time 1 says off. This controller gets very confusing because it has 4 start time options and 4 run time options. You have to make sure that you're paying attention to what setting the smaller dial is on so you know what setting you're making the choice and selection of. So for the example of this video, we're going to set a start time in the morning time. And this controller works in 15-minute increments. So when you hold this up arrow up top, it'll start scrolling in 15-minute increments only. I'm going to program it for 5 a.m. Now this controller, anytime you make a setting change to it, you don't have to push enter, it will automatically save whatever setting you put into it. So if I scroll to the right, I'll see 2 says off. That means our second start time is off, our third start time is off, our fourth start time is off. The most common mistake that people make on these controllers is they'll program their first start time, then they'll scroll to 2 and not pay attention to what setting the center dial is on, and they'll start programming start time 2, 3, and 4, which basically means that the controller is going to run every time a start time is told to do so. So we have the first start time set at 5 a.m. The next setting we're going to go to is run times. You'll see that 1 says 000. Again, this is where it gets confusing. There's 4 runtime options and 4 start time options. For this video, let's pretend that we have station 1 as a drip system and we want to program to run it for 30 minutes. We're on station 1 and it says 0. We'll hold the up arrow up here until we get to 30 minutes. Again, you don't have to push enter, it'll save everything you do as you make the selection in real time. Now, if I scroll to the right, I'll see a 2 and 0s. We're on runtime, so this means if we have a second station or a second valve, we can program that valve in this screen here. Now, this controller has 3 programs. It has programs A, B, and C. The reason that we have 3 programs is to separate different types of zones against different types of water requirements. So if we had grass and we had a drip system that we wanted to water on different days, different times, we could utilize programs A, B, or C. For this video, I'll just use program A. The last setting that we have to make a change on is watering days. Now this controller on program A will default to watering every single day unless we tell it otherwise. So you'll see raindrops illuminated over each day. If you see a raindrop, that means it's set to water on that day. If you don't want it to water on that day, you'll hold this minus key and then you'll see a circle and a slash go through that day. So now Mondays it won't water. Maybe zone 1 that we just programmed, your landscaper cuts the grass on Mondays and you want to make sure that the sprinklers don't come on Mondays. You could basically cut Monday off like we just did and say, I want it to water every single other day except never on Mondays. Or if you wanted to water every other day, you would scroll with these 2 side scrollers. Wednesday we want it off, we'd hit the down arrow down here, or the minus key. Now we have Monday and Wednesday off. If we made a mistake and we actually wanted Wednesday on, we could scroll on the left back to Wednesday and hit the up arrow. Now we're back to Wednesday on. Again, this controller saves every setting you put into it without pushing anything else. But when you've set the start time, run time, and water days, you'll want to move the center dial back up to run where the current time will be displayed, and it will program and run automatically with what you put into it. Thanks for joining us on these videos. We have a PDF link and a hyperlink with more information about the controllers if you want to dive any more in depth on them. And of course, we're always happy to help. So if you guys have any questions above and beyond these, reach out to us at the office, 602-525-2606. Thanks.